Hi, everybody. I'm here with Haley Ennes, and we're going to be talking about recruiter enablement. So, Haley, thank you for joining me. And first of all, just give us a quick introduction to you.
Yeah, hi Adam. Thanks for having me. As you said, my name is Haley Ennes. I'm a senior program manager of recruitment enablement at Sprout Social. We are a social media software company, and my role works to drive improvements to our global recruitment processes, our workflows, and really just enhance the team's ability to find, attract, and eventually hire exceptional talent. Previously, I was a recruiter here at Sprout and supported primarily our global sales and success teams. And before Sprout, I was actually, I spent some time in agency recruiting in the commercial space.
Great. Okay. So I'm sorry, I've got to ask you one or two quick questions, which I didn't tell you I was going to ask you, but based on what you just said, I think this is quite important. So our people find it really interesting. What was it about, what was it about the job that you're now doing that was appealing to you? So you moved from filling jobs to doing what you're doing now. Why did you want to make that move?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of reasons. What really sparked the initial interest was actually during COVID, at the start of COVID, we had paused hiring for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And during that time, we were trying to figure out what we could do. How could we still make an impact here at Sprout? And how could we ensure that we were ready to start hiring once everything calmed down and we could start doing that again? And so what we did is we started with looking at our current systems. Where were there opportunities on the team? What did we been talking about that we wanted to accomplish that maybe we just hadn't had the time or bandwidth for? And we made a list. We didn't know it, but I guess we created a roadmap, we'd call it now. We prioritized the initiatives. We came up with project groups or task forces, and I decided to lead a few of those items, and I just found so much energy out of that. Being able to solve hard problems and make our jobs easier at the end of the day was something that I felt so passionate about. So when it came time to pick up hiring again, while I was happy to do it and excited to start, I found that I was missing that element. And I think our team was too. We needed somebody who could really spearhead a lot of those initiatives. So that's what sparked the transition.
So you've used your like agency sort of style entrepreneurship to go and write yourself a new job description.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. And that's pretty much exactly how it happened. I just started making work for myself and then realized, maybe we can't balance both recruiting and all of this project work. But if we don't do the project work, the entire team will feel that they'll be missing that. So decided to just make that full transition.
I mean, that's learning number one immediately. Every talent acquisition team of a certain size should have somebody, at least one person, who's dedicated to what I think you are doing. So just also like what's the team structure that you're supporting? What does the TA team look like?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are pretty large at this point. When I started, I think there were maybe 5 of us, and now I believe we have over 30.
Wow.
So when we talk about the recruitment team, we categorize ourselves by pods, essentially. So there's the entire recruitment team. Then there is our team of recruiters who support our technical function.
Yeah.
That's one pod. Another pod supports revenue and operations, so
Yeah.
anything that isn't technical. However, that's primarily sales and success. And then we have our recruitment operations function that is made up of both coordinators and then program managers, my function. So recruitment enablement sits within Rec Ops.
Right. Okay. So what is it? What's recruitment enablement? What's your tasks and your objectives?
Yeah. Well, I guess when I think of recruitment enablement broadly, the goal should always be aimed at ensuring that your recruitment team is set up to hire top talent. And
Yeah.
that's by providing them with the right tools and training needed for them to be successful, while also giving your candidates a world-class experience. So, like I said, the recruitment enablement function at Sprout sits within recruitment operations. And recruitment operations at Sprout exists to create a world where there are no roadblocks to hiring exceptional talent. So we identify opportunities to improve the recruiting life cycle and then influence change through creative problem solving. And this is done with a variety of our partners throughout the entire company, through the whole org. Now, my role specifically in recruitment enablement, and there's two of us, there's two program managers, but we're really focused on ensuring that the recruitment team has the tools and knowledge needed for success. So this includes leading and maybe participating in a variety of initiatives, like I mentioned earlier, roadmap planning, managing vendors, driving our recruitment marketing strategy, and then also collaborating with various other departments across the org on any other like projects or initiatives that might come up. And I realize that that might sound vague, and I think that's just because it is. The activities of the role can change quite a bit depending on the company you're at and the needs of the business and the team. So I'd say my role today with the same title is very different than it was even 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think it sounds vague. I think it sounds broad, and it's broad
Yeah,
because it's such a big subject, to be honest. I'm interested to know you're working in a SaaS business, right? So I'm guessing you have sales enablement
we do.
team,
Mm-hmm.
right? How much inspiration can you take from the things that they're doing? Because sales enablement as a profession is like considerably more mature than it is in recruiting. Have you been able to learn from them and collaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say a little bit less on the collaboration front. That's something I'd like to look at more. Uh, but additionally, we actually have a pretty wide variety of program managers at Sprout. So we've developed something called the Program Manager Guild, and we get together monthly and typically for about an hour, and we try to have each meeting have, you know, a certain topic or theme, and then we just share best practices. We talk about challenges. And so there are sales enablement folks who are a part of that. So while, yes, I think we can certainly align a little bit more strongly in the future with sales enablement, we do a pretty good job of collaborating with all of the PMs across the org and how we can make sure that we are project planning and collaborating with everyone most effectively, and then also try to see where there's some overlap. Or like, have you done something similar before? Okay, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Let's just chat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that certainly I'm not sure I've ever met anybody who's got a recruitment enablement job who's not working in a SaaS company. I think it's all SaaS companies where I've met people who've got jobs specifically focused on this because it's kind of quite an engineering sort of mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
I believe it.
so what are the things that you would recommend for a company that's not done anything like this so far? Are there any like big things to focus on first, or are there quick wins? What would you recommend?
Oh, that's a good question. Quick wins. I mean, like I said, I really do think it depends on your team and what they want. Where are they hurting, or what are some opportunities that could help them do their jobs better? And they're going to let you know. So I'd say my first tip for anyone is just to ask for feedback, whether you're reviewing potential new tools or vendors, roadmap planning, or maybe even creating like marketing material or recruitment marketing material. I think it's really important to talk to the team and understand what they're experiencing. Both recruiters and I'd say coordinators are speaking directly with candidates and even prospects, which means that they're gaining a lot of really insightful knowledge and feedback that you just might not be aware of. And they can often tell you how certain things are maybe being received by candidates, like our job descriptions or sourcing messaging if you use templates, and even, you know, like I said, the recruitment marketing material. And they're the ones who are typically using the tools more than anyone, maybe like LinkedIn Recruiter or your scheduling tool if you have one, or even your ATS. They're in there every single day. So it's important to understand what their experience with the product is like, maybe what's working well, what isn't, and what would be helpful for them to be able to do their jobs more effectively. So I know that from personal experience, you can ask for feedback. Not everyone really feels comfortable giving that so proactively. So actually going to these individuals, maybe scheduling 10, 15 minutes, even probably 30 would work best, but trying to understand just what works for them and what what doesn't. And then you can get into more specifics. But I think just giving them the space to share with you what would make their day-to-day function easier is going to give you a lot of information.
Yeah,
so that would
absolutely.
be kind of like what was that?
I said, absolutely. I agree with what you just said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I guess I have a few additional tips, maybe not for just like kicking things off, but is that something you'd be interested in hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So I did think about this beforehand, and something that's really helped me is collaboration with
Yep.
the team on projects. So we all know, especially anyone in recruitment enablement or any enablement role, that implementing change can sometimes be, maybe not sometimes, maybe often be really challenging.
Yep.
And I've personally found that when we ask our team to volunteer to participate as collaborators on our projects, we have a much higher adoption rate than if we were to try to implement a change process on our own. And I mean, this is proven to be true. I've done some research on this. There's the sociologist Everett Rogers, his S-curve research that showed it takes only like 10 to 20% of a group to adopt an innovation for rapid acceptance by the majority to then follow. So if you can just get even a few individuals from the group that you'll ultimately be implementing a change to help build a new process or whatever it may be, if they really believe in whatever it is that you're doing and feel strongly about the change, you'll have a significantly higher adoption rate across the entire team without you having to send follow-up email after follow-up email and hounding people, So, and I mean, it goes without saying that I think the quality of the work will also be better, bringing in their perspective, similar to what I was saying before, but it will always help you to better understand their challenges, and maybe what will work and won't work for the team. So if your end goal is to support the recruitment team, then it's important that you understand them.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard for somebody to do your job who hadn't done the job that you did before.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be
Exactly.
a very, very large, like steep learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
But because you did it, you can shortcut some of your understanding of the issues.
Mm-hmm.
But something else that's important, I think, is in recruiting, because like I'm going to say something that I don't want to say something that comes across as rude, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Recruiting is not a very mature like profession
Mm-hmm.
compared to finance or sales or quite a lot of other different job disciplines. And so as a result, we've got a lot of open space ahead of us in terms of how we can make our profession better. So the what that means is that there is a lot of things that can change very fast, and there is an almost at this point a never-ending supply of new initiatives for you to work on, I would think.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize? Because you must have, I mean, you must have lots of different ideas all the time. So how do you prioritize where to spend your time?
That's a really good question. And I think it comes down to sizing and importance of different
Yeah,
initiatives. So
yeah,
what's going to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time,
yeah,
or maybe we do that first. So we like to go through and assess everything we did for the whole year. What didn't we get a chance to do? Maybe what do we need to come back to? And then what does the team want for next year? Or even what does the exec team want? What do people want to see from recruitment next year? And then I always like to dig into that a little bit deeper, because everyone wants a lot. Everyone loves to ask for things. And I think really understanding what's the challenge, like why do you want this? Or what do we have that maybe you're unaware of that will solve for this? Anyway, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but so really putting it all on paper and looking at what is going to have the biggest impact and make the greatest impact for our recruiters, for our exec team, and for our candidates. And I think you do those things first, because there is this never-ending list of things that should get done. And I think, especially in recruitment, we're in a space where it really changes depending on the year in the space, right? Like so much has changed with AI and with ChatGPT and how candidates are using these tools. I would say we couldn't, but maybe we could, but we didn't predict this a year or 2 years ago. And so what we're working on now is it's something we never expected. So just staying top of mind, and assessing what's going to make the biggest impact.
Yeah. Wonderful. Haley, thank you very much for your time. You've given us lots and lots of great things to think about. I'm really excited every time I talk to somebody who's got a specific recruitment enablement, role, because there's not very many of you. The world needs more people like you. So thank you for taking the time to join me today, and hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it.